Hey gang, it's your buddy Platt, and today we're continuing on our wine series. This video is kind of a follow-up from the previous video. In the previous video we talked about phylloxera, and in that video we talked about the solution to phylloxera was American grapevines. Well, today we're going to talk about probably the most popular American grapevine, and that is Vitis labrusca. Vitis labrusca is also known as the fox grape. It's a species of grapevine. Vitis vinifera is the most popular one that produces all the classic wines we know. This is Vitis labrusca. Vitis is the genus. They're both the same genus. We just changed in the species. Labrusca is not to be confused with Labrusco, an Italian wine, and is actually a wine we tried the very first video of the wine series. You can go back and look that up. So don't confuse the two. There's Labrusca, which is what we're talking about today, and then Lam with the M, Brusco, ends with the O, is the Italian wine. Labrusca is native to eastern North America, grows as far north as Nova Scotia, all the way down south to Georgia, and out west to Mississippi. It's probably the grape that Leif Erikson refers to when he comes, quote unquote, to the New World for the first time and lands in Nova Scotia. He sees all these wild grapevines, and it's probably Labrusca he's seeing, and he ends up referring to the region as Vineland because of all these wild grapes. Just like Vitis vinifera, we have a specific species, but underneath that we have all these grape varieties: Cabernet, Pinot Noir, Merlot, etc. There are grape varieties of Labrusca too. Catawba, we have Concord, which probably is the most popular, Delaware, Isabella, Niagara. There's also several hybrid strains. There's Agawam, Alexander, and Anoka. And when I talk about hybrids, they can either be crossed with Vitis vinifera, which some people introduce when they're trying to fix phylloxera, or they can be crossed with other native North American grapevines like Vitis rondifolio. Vitis labrusca differs from vinifera in several ways. One, if I had a grape of Labrusca, I could literally just pinch it and I'd just pull the skin right off. It's called slip skin, and it would separate from the fruit just like that. Also, it has big, thick leaves that act as a kind of a canopy over the grapes, bigger and thicker than vinifera does. Also, Labrusca wines get referred to as foxy. That's not to infer that they taste like fox. I've never eaten fox before, but that's not. It's kind of similar if you've ever seen my beer videos when we got to Belgian farmhouse ales. They would use the term barnyard, farmhouse, goat. And again, we're not saying the beer tastes like that, but just kind of the mental picture in your mind, kind of communicate that with what you get on your palate. And that's the same thing here. It's kind of a catch-all term. It just kind of refers to the earthiness. There's kind of a sweet muskiness to the wine. Also, Labrusca is a very aromatic. Aromatic than most Vitis vinifera varieties. Up there with like Muscat grapes. Those are very aromatic. And so is Vitis labrusca. Some of the positive qualities about it is it's fairly disease resistant, not just for phylloxera, which we talked about, but also certain molds, funguses, and it kind of makes sense because it's on the eastern half of the country, wetter, more humidity, can fight back. Labrusca did not really make it out west of the Mississippi in a drier climate. It's probably one of the reasons why they use vinifera grapes out in California, because Labrusca just never did well out west. Unfortunately, it kind of gets a bad rap. It's considered inferior to Vitis vinifera. Doesn't make the great complex wines of Bordeaux or Burgundy or what have you. Labrusca wines tend to be simpler. They tend to be drunk young. Usually within the first year, you don't see a lot of vintage here. You don't see a lot of aging on wood, anything like that. But it kind of goes back. I don't want to say these are inferior. I want to say they're just different. It kind of goes back to the classic French versus Italian views of wine. French make some of the highest quality, fanciest, world-renowned, something you would drink at a special occasion, graduation, what have you, where Italian wine was more for table wine, you know, enjoying with a simple meal at home and whatever. And Labrusca is kind of like that. This is not something you're going to pull out for your daughter's wedding or anything like that, but a nice big bowl of pasta on a Tuesday night, why not? The particular wine we're going to try today is Pink Catawba. This is from the Taylor Wine Company. 11% alcohol by volume. The Taylor Wine Company is based in Catawba, New York. I hope I'm saying that right. In the Finger Lakes region. And if you know your wine history, the Finger Lakes region of New York is a very important wine growing region, especially before, I'm going to say the 50s and 60s when California kind of took off. Go back in American history, 1700s, 1800s, early 1900s, pre-Prohibition especially. A lot of American wine was produced back east and not necessarily in California. And what, you know, the population centers of the U.S. wanted was this wine. And they weren't drinking newly planted Pinot Noirs in California, or not yet anyway. Like I said, this company was founded in 1880, in the 1880s by Walter Taylor, passed on for further generations down the Taylor family until roughly 1977 when they sold out to all people Coca-Cola. The family later tried to start a new vineyard and they tried to use the name Taylor, lost some lawsuits on that, but they ended up starting a vineyard called Bully Hill, and it's still around today, so the Taylor family still has their fingers in the wine industry. Let's give this a try. Alright, definitely aromatic, definitely a little mustiness to it on the nose. Let's give her a try. Sweet, fairly sweet, real basic. Not much acid. I'm going to say this is guilty as charged on the simple wine. Not bad though. I don't get the, you know, color-wise, this may look like a white Zinfandel, but I don't get the acidity on this. A little more viscosity than I would get on a white Zinfandel. Overall, kind of a, all right, plain sweet wine. This might be a wine, in all honesty, if I was introducing somebody to the concept of wine and wanted to kind of keep it simple. This might be something I would introduce them with and then kind of work out. But again, I could see where again, if I just had a big bowl of pasta and I just want to have a couple of glasses of wine, I could definitely drink this. And I believe I got this big bottle for $9.99, so probably good value too. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe down below. Also, please like the video because it lets YouTube know I'm putting out good content. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them in the comment section, or you can always contact me on the Twitter page. Till next time, bottoms up.